Hi there, this is Irv Shapiro with the Dr. Vax channel. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different. If you're a regular viewer of this channel, today's video really isn't for you. It's for your neighbor or your partner or your family or your coworkers. It's for all of the folks that don't understand why you spend so much time in your basement, in your garage, in your spare bedroom, making stuff. They just don't get it. Now, we live in a very complicated time. With COVID still peaking around the world and new quarantines being put into effect, yes, there's a vaccine on the horizon, and that's fantastic. But for most of us, it's still going to be a few more months of semi-isolation. A few more months where our life is different, where we perhaps have more time. Now, if you're a first responder, a healthcare worker, you're in logistics, you're busier than you've ever been. For many of us, if we're fortunate enough to be able to work from home, we have a little more time. We're not commuting anymore. Perhaps, unfortunately, you're not even working right now. So I have a cure for quarantine blues. Learn how to make something. And you look at all this stuff here and you say, I can't do that. I can't even cook an egg. Well, I'm going to tell you that anybody today can learn to make things. And anyone can have all the supplies delivered to their front door. So if you already know how to make things, send this video to everyone you know because it could change their life. If you've never made anything before, you think it's too hard, please give me just a few minutes and watch this video. Stay tuned and let's learn something together. Folks, we live in a world of possibilities. Possibilities that never existed before. Those possibilities exist because you can point a browser at the internet, a computer at the internet, a phone at the internet, and you can order stuff that you couldn't order in the past. It used to be, and I grew up in a world where there were manufacturers, and then there were distributors and wholesalers and retail, and you couldn't jump the line. If I wanted to buy all of the supplies to make my own pens, and I'll talk to you about this, I couldn't do it if I wasn't a manufacturer. If I wanted to create a new type of electronic device, I really couldn't do it without a whole infrastructure around me and maybe months and months of time. If I wanted to create a new toy, it was a long process. That's no longer true today. Today, I can get all the supplies I need in days, and I can even buy the tools to make my own prototypes. I can do it right at home. But let's start with something simpler. You've never made anything. You're one of those folks that, sure, you maybe even have a job where you work with your hands. You don't come home and create things and make things. You don't make things for yourself to give as gifts, maybe to sell and make some extra income. You're just not a maker. Well, I'm going to get you started really easy. I want you to find a frying pan. And oh yeah, I know, you don't cook. Well, why don't you cook? You don't cook because it's too hard. You don't cook because it's too complicated. You don't cook because you've never been taught. You don't cook because you didn't grow up cooking. Well, I'm going to teach you something today, or how to learn something today that's really simple. Want to learn how to cook? All you need is YouTube. So let's say we want to make an egg. Well, maybe you want to make a poached egg or a sunny side up egg or a scrambled egg. Go to YouTube and type in scrambled egg. Type in omelet. you're going to get hundreds or thousands of people showing you how to make that egg. And you know what? You don't want to do it because it's too much work. My partner does that for me. Well, I'm going to tell you another secret. When you make something for yourself, it feels good. That egg might actually taste better than any egg you've had before. So start simple, learn to cook something. Okay, so that's not your thing. Well, what other things can you make at home? Well, sitting here in the middle of the desk is a lathe. Now, if you're of my generation, you might have grown up in junior high with shop class. And maybe you made a baseball bat. Or maybe you had home economics because in my generation when I was growing up, girls and guys did different things. First of all, that's nonsense. But besides that, that might be the last time you either touched a sewing machine or a lathe. Well, guess what? You can go online and buy one. And then you can go to YouTube and someone will teach you how to use it. I bought this lathe for $199. I think they're even less expensive now from Penn State Industries. And there'll be a link down below. Matter of fact, if you go to my kit link, and you'll see that down below, I'll show you all where to buy all the things I'm talking about here. So I bought this for under $200. Now, I did need to buy some other things. I needed to buy some chisels because basically what we're going to do is we're going to turn this piece of wood very fast on this lathe, and then we're going to carve out of it a shape. And depending on the shape we carve out of it, you could end up with a beautiful wine stopper. You could end up with a pen that started as a block of wood. Or you could end up with a pen that started as a piece of resin or plastic. Now, everything I need to do this, I can buy online. So I buy the wood online. It shows up, in my case, in 1 or 2 days. I can buy the metal parts of the pen online. It shows up on 1 or 2 days. So for a few $100s, I can get started making my own gifts for this holiday season. Or for all year long. And let me tell you, the first time you give a gift you've made yourself to someone that they thought came from a manufacturer, they're going to say to you, "What do you mean you made that?" "Well, I got a block of wood and I turned it on a lathe." And you're going to feel great. You're going to feel really good. Now, let me show you some other things that I've made right here in my basement. So this is a 3D printer. This is a 3D printer you can buy for, I think, $230. There are many 3D printers available for under $300 today. This is a 3D printer from a company called Monoprice. It's called the Select Mini, and it comes fully assembled. If you're a little bit more industrious and you're willing to put a 3D printer together, which is no electronics, just connecting rods together and bolts and screws, some assembly, Creality makes a 3D printer called the Ender 3 version 2. Fantastic 3D printer that will print bigger things for the same price, basically. So what can I print on this 3D printer? Well, I can go online to a whole bunch of websites and find thousands of items that I can 3D print. You have a party coming up, so you want to make sort of kitschy roses that you're going to use. This vase that these roses are in could be used for real roses. This was printed on a 3D printer. These toys for my grandchildren, and they love these flexible toys, were printed on a 3D printer. This more sophisticated toy, printed on a 3D printer. You don't think you can do anything practical? Well, I buy these blades online, and then I print custom handles for them with either people's names or various sayings on them. This is a beautiful bread knife as an excellent personalized gift printed on a 3D printer. How did I learn about 3D printing? I watched videos on YouTube. So I spent a few $100s on a 3D printer. I bought some reels of plastic and I started watching videos. What else could we do here? Well, let's look around here and let's look at these items. These are all computers. Yeah, I know. Computers are supposed to be big. They're supposed to be in cases. These are all standalone single board computers. You can get single board computers that sell for $10 or $12 up to $30, $40, $50, or $60, depending on the type of computer. This one here is called a Raspberry Pi. Once again, I'll have links for how to buy all of these things down below. And this is a complete computer. So you plug a keyboard, a mouse, and a monitor into this computer, and you have a full functioning computer. Now, it's not running Windows or Mac OS. It is running an operating system called Linux, but it's a complete computer. Now, why would you want a computer like this? Well, this computer sells for, I don't know, depending on the model, about $35. This little computer, which is really good for like attaching to fabrics and using in a lot of interesting applications, is a little bit less. This is a variation of an Arduino computer. You can get these starting for $12. What would you use these for? Well, let me give you a very simple example. And the possibilities are endless. If you can dream it, you can make it today at home, in your spare bedroom, in your basement, in your garage. So what can you do with these computers? Well, first of all, you don't have to know a lot of electronics to use them. You buy the computer and you plug some regular stuff in. So let's say I plugged an inexpensive television in. I go to my big box retailer, I buy an end of season television for under $100. Has an HDMI port. I plug it into here. I hang that television. That isn't a very big one because I bought it for under $100. I hang it in the front hall where my kids come in after school. Now, maybe my kids, once we're past this virus thing, will be back in school again, and they'll be coming in, letting themselves in, and I won't get home, and my partner won't get home until a little bit later in the day. Well, on that big screen, I could do a couple things. I could say, hey, this is Dad. I'll be home at 6:30 today. There's mac and cheese in the fridge you can heat up in the microwave. I have a sign for them. I could have two big buttons. Literally, I could attach buttons to this because I don't want my kids to have to type a bunch of stuff. One button is for Adir, and the other button is for Sally. And when they get home, all they do is they tap the button. And then I get a message at my phone that they're home. They're home safely. So I could build my own message board. Okay, you think that's sort of goofy? Well, anything you could think that you wanted to build with electronics, you can build yourself today with these very simple to use components. This is a Raspberry Pi. This is a Circuit Express from Adafruit. And this is an Uno from Elego. So single board computers. What else could I do? Well, maybe I need something very practical. I have that one place in my house where the electric switches are different than anywhere else, and I have multiple switch plates there because it doesn't fit. I can't buy a switch plate that fits. Well, design and print one yourself on your 3D printer. Maybe you're planning for the holidays. No matter what symbols you use for the holidays, how about creating your own on a 3D printer? Maybe I take and I 3D print that, and then I embed one of these Circuit Expresses in it. I screw this on, I attach it, I glue it down, and it sparkles and plays a song whenever it senses somebody coming near. So if you can dream it, you can make it. How do I find this stuff? I go online. Let's look at this screen together. So if you look at this screen, here are some individual companies where you can buy some of these supplies. Adafruit in the upper right-hand corner sells a whole bunch of electronics kits that don't require a lot of knowledge of electronics. Penn State Industries is where I buy all of my woodworking supplies for making pens and bottle stoppers and pizza cutters and other things I turn on a lathe. Rockler on the bottom right has a whole bunch of woodworking supplies. eBay, Banggood, Monoprice. This printer was bought from Monoprice. Amazon has an unbelievable range of products. You order them online and they get delivered right to your home. How do you know what to order? Watch a video. Now, maybe you want to take it even further. You want to actually make a little bit of money. You're retired. You want to make some money on the side. Your friends say to you, wow, I would buy those bottle stoppers. Or you know what? Customized bread knives? What a creative idea. How much could you sell those for? Well, where would you sell those? Well, let's look at some other websites together. These are examples of 4 different websites, online stores that make it easy for you to sell. First of all, you can set up an account on Amazon and send them inventory and they'll sell your goods for you. You want a little bit more control. You can go to Shopify or Wix. Those are just 2 examples, and there are many, many more. You're into artsy things. This happens to be a pepper grinder that was made by 3D printing, designing and 3D printing the case on a 3D printer. It's in plastic, but using supplies I bought from Penn State Industry for people that do woodworking for the mechanical parts of the grinder. So you can combine these things together and then sell your custom pens, your custom toys, your custom knives on Etsy, an artisan's sales environment. So why do I make stuff? I make stuff really for 3 reasons. First of all, I believe you need to use it or lose it. And I was going to put up some scientific data about learning new things and delaying the effects of aging. So I went to Google Scholar, scholar.google.com, and I entered in learning new skills and aging. Hundreds of thousands of articles came up. So I could have cherry picked through there and put some good headlines up, but basically it sort of makes sense. Your mind's a muscle at some level, and so use it or lose it. So I'm going to keep using mine. I'm going to learn new things every day. Number 2, it feels really good. When you give a gift to someone that you made, it's very, very special. Even if you use it yourself, I love using the pens that I make. I love my ability to create my own shelf brackets on a 3D printer. I like using index cards for notes. I'm sort of an old guy. I used to use punch cards from the first computers I worked on, but I still take notes on index cards. I wanted a little case for them, so I went into FreeCAD, I designed it, and I 3D printed it. So the second reason I make stuff is it feels good to use it for myself and to give as gifts. The third reason is that you could really actually make a little extra money by selling stuff online, or even by making videos, which is what I do, about all the stuff I make. So folks, I hope you learned something today. More than anything else, I really urge you to break that fear of making something. Start by making an egg. Grab a frying pan and some oil and butter and that egg, and you too can begin making things. Thanks so much for watching this video. I urge you to subscribe to this channel. There's over 150 videos about making stuff on the channel. A lot of it now is about 3D printing, but leave me comments about other things you'd like to learn about. There's some woodworking on there. There's going to be some electronics coming up. Click the bell so you're notified about new videos, and share this video with everyone you know who might find joy in making something. Thanks again for watching. Let's continue to learn things together.